everybody, and welcome to the Download Youth Ministry web show. Doug Fields here with co-host Josh Griffin.
Who is the full host?
It's all right. They probably can't hear us anyhow, so it's no big deal.
Matt McGill to my right, and replacing the queen today is Jessica Torres. Not Torres. What's your new last name?
My new last name is Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Just as Hispanic.
It is.
But it's moved up one letter in the alphabet.
That's good.
There you
Jessica,
go. Congratulations.
Are you going to go Torres-Sanchez, or is that too much?
Okay, this is a conversation that was dragged on way too long at
you were
my
thinking
team.
about it? You were
No,
considering?
because they were all throwing in their opinions, like Sanchez, Torres. I mean,
good.
everybody's trying to
good.
merge the last name.
She doesn't have a middle name.
I don't have a middle name.
So maybe Torres becomes the middle name now.
There you go.
Wait a
It's
minute.
also the name of the street I live on.
There you go.
Wow.
Anyway,
There's some.
Jessica
Google
has
that.
been. She's been on the show before. She's wonderful. She's on.
have a middle name?
She's on Josh's team.
Wonderful,
She's
wonderful
been-
teammate.
My
Yes.
daughter, who adores her, has been a mentor, discipler of her, and you're a great youth worker. And every time you're on the show, has it been 3 times?
Second time.
Second time.
Wow.
Well, the first time you were excellent.
It was great.
Thank you.
We tried to get rid of Matt and have 2 women on the show, but he's
Someday.
He refuses.
Anyway,
He just keeps showing
Just
up.
immovable.
Sorry you got canned from the podcast.
yeah. Speaking of which, we have a show that we hope has sound. We've had a
lip sync episode.
We've had a mute show, and Parker, we blame it on him. Parker is unavailable today.
Yes.
Right.
Seth is in Baltimore, and we're
The gall.
we're going on with the show anyway.
The gall of both those
We
guys.
might as well just do a shorter show,
It feels right.
just in case
Feels
there's no
right.
sound.
but every
should
time
say-
we do a shorter show,
it always goes
it's
long.
longer. So it's like the kiss of death.
Should we say this though too? Welcome back.
Well,
Should
yes,
we say that?
thank you.
Yes. We missed you the last couple
Look at your
episodes.
post-vacation beard.
Yes.
What do you think,
Nice.
Jessica?
I like it.
Too much gray?
No.
Not enough gray.
I love you enough to tell you that there's a more gray in there than.
Yeah.
Is that a bad
I
thing?
don't think that's a bad
It-
thing.
I don't either. I'm just saying it makes you look old.
Everybody knows he's older than dirt.
No, I like it. It's a good look, but it's gray. There's a lot of gray.
Yeah, that's why I shaved last time.
Yeah.
Gray. Then I saw on when we were in Italy, I saw Brad Pitt, People Magazine.
Yeah.
He has a little like soul patch
Yeah.
thing, all gray.
It does.
All gray. It
All
looks
gray.
good. So you could rock that.
Yeah. Well,
Are you two the same age?
yeah.
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 Doug's actually his body double.
Yeah.
Does all his...
Matt's
Don't-
Angelina Jolie's body double. All right, we ready?
Let's go.
I didn't get to watch the shows, but I'm sure you did a
I'm
fabulous
surprised
job.
you didn't.
We even had a little bet saying that you would.
exactly.
Watch the shows,
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
It was
That's a good vacation.
it was a slow internet,
yeah.
so I saw like the first couple minutes of one.
Yeah.
And I think at one point you said, "This is when Doug will be turning off," and I thought, perfect.
All you
It
needed
all
was
goes downhill
permission.
from there. Yeah.
All you needed was permission.
Anyway, we're grateful to our sponsors, our primary sponsor, Youth Specialties,
Love you, YS.
and Youth Ministry 360, Leader Treks, and Azusa Pacific University.
We should list them right
Go
there so you
Cougars.
don't
Hey,
have to look for them.
McBee,
What do you think about that?
you know what? I know you sent me some stuff, and
to read.
would you figure that out for me? And it was from Leader Treks, right? And YM 360.
Yeah.
It's
and
really,
YS.
it's their responsibility to send us
Yeah.
stuff, what they want
Yeah.
talked about, and they did. Leader Treks
So
did.
now it's on us.
And
Yeah.
and YM 360
Well, YS, we
did.
just had a blog post about joining us at the National Youth Workers Convention because we'll be there. That'll be a lot of fun this fall. So
Yeah.
join us for that. That'll be a
Nice.
great
And
time.
this summer, if you want, join us at the Student Leadership Conference.
Absolutely.
There's spots available.
Please do.
Baltimore, Indiana, and Southern California. StudentLeadershipConference.com.
I'll be there. Looking forward
All
to
right,
it.
while
We're
we
bringing
wait
students.
for McBee in our show that has no sound, this is from Sam. And Sam says he's from Open Water Church in Tampa, Florida.
Hi, Sam.
I've recently started watching the web show. I'm getting some good info from it as well as some good laughs. I recently started working as a student minister, and I came into a ministry that met on Friday nights. The youth group is for 6th through 12th graders, and up until this point was just a handful of middle schoolers. Since I have been here, we have grown exponentially, which is exciting, and we have a big group of high schoolers who have begun coming.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yep.
We'll figure it
Friday
out.
nights have already been pointed out as something that will not work with our high school students. Sports, pep band, dances, etc.
It's good that they know that.
Yeah. My questions are the following. Should I switch the evening that we meet? We need to be We need to be Sunday evenings. We only have one building with space for our groups, and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are filled. If I should switch it, how do I go about making a switch to a different evening? So let's make this universal.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to switch nights. Okay?
What?
What are you chuckling at, Chuckler?
I had a sneeze like right at the very,
Tip of your
very
nose?
tip, and
Yeah.
I was just going to sneeze on Matt.
Oh, and you
And I
lost it.
lost the sneeze. Once I went to, I'm
don't
going to
wanna do
sneeze
that to
on
me.
Matt. No, I don't.
You're like,
Run
this is
away.
a great bit.
No,
I wouldn't
'cause-
have done it.
One of the shows while you were gone, he was daring people to lick his eyeball because it had an infection in it.
It
It
did
was
not have an
disgusting.
infection. It was not infected. That
It was
is
called
really
the pink
important.
eye episode. It was gross.
Yeah, I had a swollen eye with maybe a little bit of eye mucus on it, and
All that I'm trying to say is,
it
sneeze
was
on them.
away from the camera,
Sneeze
so
on
no
them.
one had to see it. Now, these
Look
guys-
at Fadi's.
he's like,
Yeah.
"What's
So
happening?"
gross to
We're
Al.
all-
You take
so
a
is our
picture of
audience.
Fadi and put it
Good thing
up
they
there.
can't hear
I
us
had
on
an
this episode.
abrasion on my eye. I went to the doctor. It was abrased.
You went to the
What does
doctor?
that
I did.
mean?
Was?
Do you want to tell about your other doctor's appointment? Or should we wait for another show?
Did you turn
What other doctor?
45?
Oh,
No, but I've already had that.
You have?
Well, that's because of
haven't.
family history.
Oh,
Yeah, family history.
I had to wait till 50. I had to, like.
I had to.
Darn it, I can't get it at 40.
Squeeze
Dang,
in there.
45.
Freudian slip.
Are you worried now? Because you sounded like you were like, should I be going?
Because these guys are
I
blazing the trail for me.
Yeah.
So 50, 45, 39.
I'm 45.
I made that up. I don't even know how old you guys are.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm just a few years behind.
Yeah.
So I want to, if you've already had one, maybe I need
He needs to
go
start
get-
thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. We haven't actually even said what the one
No,
is.
I
It's been a
had-
good show, folks.
Pink eye sneezing. And,
Download medical
yeah.
ministry.
Yeah.
All right.
right.
So this guy wants to move off of Friday. Needs to move off.
So let's go universal for everybody. How do you move dates? How do you move times?
Yeah.
People
Good
are going to
question.
hate it. What do you do?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to pick. It's great that things have been growing and that you want to respond to that. And so you don't have to change everything. I mean, one way is to look at it is to go, what's the minimum amount that I could change? And so maybe you have middle school night and high school night,
Yeah.
and so you're not, you're not totally changing. You're actually kind of adding something.
Which if you did middle school on Friday night,
Oh, it worked.
Yeah, that's
it's a good
perfect.
night.
work. They're always looking for something to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And parents need babysitting. It's perfect. Everybody wins.
Parents think it is. That's great. I think part of it when you want to do change like this is you definitely got to talk to the people that you report to. I mean, you got to talk to your pastor, talk to your supervisor, whoever that is, and let them know what you're thinking. I think when you make the change, you don't want to be so authoritative. I mean, the situation that I walked into at Mariners before I got fired, but there was a bunch of
Sorry you
changes
got
that were
canned.
made. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You should make me a shirt. The changes that the 6 months before, they were made so like, this is what we're doing, this is the way it has to be, and no argument, and if you're either in or out. I mean, it was so dogmatic, and so, I mean, it was rough. I mean, it was rough. So, but I would lead also with the heart behind it. Hey, this will reach more people. This is not what we're currently doing isn't working. It isn't gonna work for the growth that we're experiencing. This is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So
I'll throw out one. I would say you are going to have some fans on Friday night that aren't going to want to move to Sunday. So let's say you decide Sunday night, like you mentioned in the email. So the people that are happy with Friday are now going to be bummed out at you on Sunday.
Right.
And people that were bummed out on Friday because their kids couldn't go are now going to be thrilled. So now you almost just realize that you're not going to make everyone happy with this switch.
Right.
You're going to now inconvenience new people that were previously happy, which
Yeah.
is a little bit of a freak out mode. So I think just know that there's going to be a natural resistance to change altogether, and you're going to disappoint people that aren't unhappy right now. One other idea, I just sort of other kind of language we use a lot is the words experiment. So I think, man, if you just say, hey, we're giving this a shot. We've done Friday night for 15 years. We're going to Sunday night. And call it an experiment. Do it at the right time of the year. So January or for the summer or September.
Yep.
Call it an experiment. That takes the edge off of this is the way it's going to be forever. Because immediately people think, here's the change, and now it will never change.
Yeah.
We know that's not true,
Yep.
but that's what they think. So call it an experiment, do it at the right time, and just know that you're going to bum some people out.
Yeah, and going into summer, maybe you can make the change at the end of summer. You know? I mean,
absolutely.
So
I like summer because it's got that natural break of like, okay, it's 3 months.
Yeah.
And if it's great, we keep doing it.
Yeah.
And if it stinks, we cut it and no one knows the difference. We go back
Yeah.
to Friday because that's when fall kickoff is and all of our stuff's on Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any thoughts, Jess?
No, I think I think you two just hit on that thread of make sure that you're being flexible as you're asking others to be flexible. Make sure that you're flexible to not hold so tightly to, well, this is the way that I want it to be, and pull key volunteers into the conversation, or pull a few trusted parents into the conversation, and help them be your allies as you're trying to convey the vision of why this change is needed.
Yeah, yeah. And part of it is difficult. You can't. Sorry, Doug, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say is that on one hand,
what I was going to say.
I knew that was coming. I
Let
knew
me throw
that
this
on
in.
on one hand you can't be so
Okay, next question.
you can't be so strong that you're not open to any feedback, but on the other hand, you can't be wishy-washy. Like, you've got to have some convictions. You got to say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're excited. It can't be like, hey, I'm kind of thinking about.
Just
let's
know all the pros and
try.
cons going into
Right.
it.
Yeah.
As you said, there's going to be cons. Everybody hates change. My famous quote that I stole from famous Mark Twain is, the only person who likes change is a wet baby. You know, so everybody,
Yes.
people are going to be
Yeah.
babies when you change. One of the things that we
You
did,
guys
Matt,
like change, though. I like
we
change.
strategically,
I don't get it.
you know, what you guys are experiencing now in your ministry,
Yeah.
that Saturday night is your biggest event.
Absolutely.
And then the numbers decrease. So, you know, for those that don't know, at Saddleback, they have a big Saturday night service, and then they run the same service twice on Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back when Matt and I were doing at Saddleback, our 11:15 service was the massive service,
Yeah.
and we had basically a practice service on Saturday night. We were told we needed to move the kids to Saturday night, which would move the parents to Saturday night. We weren't given an option in this one. And that was going to be a big sell because people would do, you know, who goes to
We
church
actually
on
did it
Saturday
3 different
night?
times. It was the third time before. it
But our
stuck.
biggest one was we went, okay, let's do it after Mexico, which during the spring break we would take a ton
Our
of
biggest
kids,
trip of the year.
ton of kids to Mexico, and we just said at Mexico, here's the deal, this group is moving to Saturday night.
Cool.
We're gonna plus we tied a cost to it for our church. We said, hey, to make this move, it's going to cost you some money because we're going to provide pizza on Saturday night for a month.
Yep.
And so
outrageous prizes. It was.
we just made it where, like, if
You
you
had to
came
do
on
that.
Sunday morning, you were an idiot.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and so, but it took, because it really probably was our second or third attempt.
It really was our third attempt.
You know,
I
but
mean,
it
to try
was
and
it was
get-
leveraging that camp. It was you know, bribing in
Yeah.
some ways. But now you know the rest is history.
Well, and
that-
here it is years
Yeah,
later.
that's
We're
crazy.
Saturday night is still the place to
I know
be.
that's
Yeah.
crazy to
Yeah.
think that that's stayed the same for
I
so
love
long.
it.
All because
Here's what's crazy. What's crazy is
Leader trap.
Youth Ministry
there it is.
360.
I knew it.
One of our wonderful sponsors. They have this. We've talked about this a lot. Their book
Well, why
called
don't you
New.
actually talk about it rather
First Steps for New Christ Followers. The devotional journals offer an incredible 4-week experience for the believers that help them get started on the right track. Plus, Jessica, included with these books are 4 free Bible studies that if you want to mentor them through these 4 weeks. It's $7.99 a book, but you get 10% off if you use the code DYM
Whoa.
2014. That's DYM 2014 on any Youth Ministry 360 product.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Discounts
There you
for
go.
everybody.
10%
New Believer
discount?
books. We had a bunch of them for a while.
did, we liked
And
them.
Josh stole them all and took them to
I
Saddleback.
use them in our ministry
because
all the time.
apparently they don't have a budget.
Can I throw out one other thought related to this? No,
let's
it's
put this to bed.
It's not a principle. It's actually a little story.
All
Okay,
right.
here it is. My son
I
just
wish we
made
had story music.
my son just made
Need-
the worship team playing acoustic guitar in our junior high ministry. He's coming into junior high this year, which is a really awesome moment. But he is doing guitar in the band. And they, at the very first meeting for band, they announced this all-day practice. You can't miss it. You got to be there. It's like a 10-hour thing, and it's super fun. And we're excited that he made the band. But it's on July 5th, and I went, July 5th. It's a holiday. It's a total
How is July
fun week.
5th a holiday?
Well, it's holiday week. It's a Saturday.
Holiday weekend.
Yeah.
You know, July 4th, everyone has off, fireworks fun. We're gone for the weekend. We have plans, vacation. So it's only a month from now, and it's on a key family time. And so, what would you do in that situation? Do you say your son comes with you? This is my question now, but it just felt like it related to
You know what it makes me think of?
timing and scheduling.
It makes me think of a couple years ago when my daughter was in your high school group, and you
I love
guys,
how you guys changed.
you guys had the high school football bowl on a Monday, holiday Monday. That was the week of finals.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So
We're good planners.
So is that what you mean?
Yeah,
that kind of
something
thing.
like that.
kind of thing.
That-
where it would kind of like anger a parent.
Like Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, right in the middle of finals. All right, I don't have a question anymore.
Resolved.
Yeah, those are
Issue's
tough.
been
Those
resolved.
are tough
real
issues
tough
as
for
parents.
All right.
Welcome.
Next question. Jerk.
I mean,
I think as a
family
parent,
time is important, but
what?
is one day going to really ruin it? I mean, one day.
Well,
away
we're gonna
from
come
the
back
family?
early from our vacation.
Well,
couple
vacation
hours
is
away.
vacation's tough.
And we
Yeah.
really want him to be there, though. Like, we're
Yeah.
stoked about this. This is great.
Right.
Yeah.
But only a few weeks' notice.
Welcome to the world of teenagers. It's the first of many.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the first of many. You as when you are a parent of
Your
a
cute
teenager,
little family where you get to control the whole
if
schedule.
your kids are involved in sports
yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
you just gave up your freedom. So
Does the
vacation stuff. Where are you going on vacation?
Just Palm Desert, just out to the desert. So it's
So
not
you're
a-
missing the Fields 4th of July party?
Well, we're not now. Now we're coming home.
Well, it
say,
all
it's
worked
we'll meet
out.
there.
Happy music.
We built that pool for the Griffins and the McGills.
They love that pool. They're ready to let you guys
That's
live upstairs
beautiful.
and we'll live downstairs. We're all in one bedroom, but it's worth it. Have you seen that pool?
You and Monty downstairs.
Yes. Oh, is he still alive? Is that dog?
Barely. Don't
right,
use
here we
my
go.
name. I'm a 22-year-old brand spanking new youth pastor at my home church.
Let's just call him Justin. Does that
Okay.
sound good?
Justin.
All right, Justin's his name.
Not as in best-selling DYM author Justin Knowles.
Totally different. It
Who
does
happens
have to
to
be
be
right
here.
there.
He is
though.
here.
Yeah.
But it's too cheap to join us for CrossFit.
Exactly, bro. Look at this.
Josh, way to
Dude,
go
oh,
yesterday.
sorry, did I hurt you right there?
Yeah.
I think I just pulled something.
Our youth ministry has been in decline since I graduated because of the lack of an actual paid youth worker and volunteers getting burned out. Since being in the position, I have tried to turn a ship that kids found uninteresting and just didn't want to go. The problem is I barely get kids to go to youth group on Sundays. A typical week brings in 2 to 4 kids, but get huge numbers for overnighters and other events. Also, my volunteers are not helping very much either. They rarely respond to my emails and don't show the kind of passion that is needed in a struggling ministry. Further, many aren't even in church service on Sundays either. I'm getting really frustrated and down on myself, and I'm not in the right vocation, that I don't have the right mindset or calling to steer this ship. Please help me.
Is that in saying, or am I in the wrong vocation? Is that what?
Getting down on myself that I am not in the right
Oh,
vocation.
he's doubting what he's supposed to
Right.
be doing.
So, 22 years old, new, frustrated, volunteers aren't responding, kids aren't showing up.
Yeah.
What's his name? Justin?
Justin. is
Yeah,
his name.
Justin.
Justin.
Yeah.
His home church.
Here's a real simple principle. Hang on to this one. Events that kids want to be at, you will get better numbers at. Okay, simple as that.
Yep.
That's right.
Make a T-shirt out of it. You know, we always get discouraged that we're going to get 5 kids at a discipleship night, and we go, gosh, but we have 20 that show up to an all-nighter. And instead of being frustrated, I think we just have to go, duh. I mean,
Right.
Yes.
you know, it's kind of that.
One person said where commitment increases, attendance decreases.
Gosh,
So
that should be in a book
wise.
somewhere.
If only we had a book.
that book? Yeah. So as commitment increases, attendance
Yeah.
decreases. So when you're asking more of kids, it's just natural response, you know. So here, like for example, a worship leader is asking for kids to be committed to one day for a 10-hour training, and parents are going to go crazy. And,
I deserve that. jerk. Just trying to be transparent, guys. I'm just trying to keep it real and authentic.
They're gonna have some
So-
freedom.
Vulnerable.
As a new youth worker, I think this is your opportunity to establish a ministry that, 3 years from now, your volunteers aren't going to be lack passion, and they're not going to be. They will be involved in the church service. I mean, you have the ability to set it up right now, but you're brand new. You're adopting other people's issues. It's your home church. You're probably not as respected as maybe somebody coming in from the outside. You're going to have to work more difficult at that. But I'd spend time starting with, what do you think, Jessica? I'd start with the volunteers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think there are going to be certain points where you're going to have to lovingly, you're going to have to establish certain principles that you want your ministry formed around. And I don't mean like crack the whip, but to a certain degree, you're going to have to say, okay, we're steering this ship in this direction, and I want you to be on board, and I want you to be a part of this. But if you don't want to be a part of it, and if you're not willing to be committed not only to our ministry, but to your own faith, which means go to church services, feed your soul, and be a part of community at our church, then maybe this isn't the best place for you to serve. And, reach out to the community at large at your church to be able to recruit the volunteers that are committed to your whole church and committed to the students in your ministry. And so I think that there has to be an element of, I don't know what that looks like, of this youth pastor being so young, maybe needing to partner with someone who has been in ministry for a little bit longer to help them develop a plan for their ministry, and then be able to say, okay, well, what is the vital role of these leaders, and start to cast some vision with these leaders so that they can see, I'm doing something here, we're doing something. You're not just showing up to just chaperone, but I want you to be a pastor with me. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I think a lot of youth workers hit this moment several times over the course of their youth ministry career too. You've hit this probably is your first one, and it's shaking you a little bit, and you're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be in youth ministry. This is everything I'm trying to do is failing, not working, broken, whatever. And I would just say this is probably the first of multiple times where this is going to happen. And just because students aren't showing up at something or things are broken does not mean you need to give up on youth ministry.
It might, though.
Maybe you do. Maybe there's something and God's showing you something. I'm certainly not above that. Yeah. But at the same time, I would say questioning your calling is part of the calling of youth ministry. Yeah, it is. I mean, I think I probably go, I'm going to just make up a number. I'm going to say 16 months or so between questioning my calling and going, am I at the right church? Am I doing the right things? Do I need to change? Does this church need to change? Am I still leading it effectively? Are people still following? I mean, am I, I think, am I the right leader? I think that's a pretty common question. So I think it's hard at 22 because you're going, this is a big question for me to have to answer right now. And I would say,
and it will get better. This is not going to be your, chances are this at your home church is not going to be your best ministry that you're going to have. You probably have a long ministry in front of you. I'd probably disagree with Josh a little bit on the 16 months. I'd say if you're by yourself every 3 months, you're...
Well, there are seasons of 3. I mean, I remember where it felt like I couldn't get out of a season of doubt and questioning and calling. But I think, man, you get some good times, you build a team, and you're like, well, this is smooth sailing. Yeah. And then everything comes crashing down, and you're like, everything that I worked so hard to fix is now broken. And I also think there are times where it is hard to escape the everyday doubts, questions, fears, disillusionment, disappointment, bummed at your senior pastor, bummed with your volunteers, bummed with yourself.
I would take this these nights where you're getting huge numbers for overnights and other events, and instead of turning on them, which is your typical thing, like, oh, you guys, you're an idiot. I mean, why aren't you at Bible study? Is go, hey, look, our overnighters are working. Yeah. Our special events, our outreach events are working. I'm going to celebrate the kids that are coming, but I'm also going to begin to handpick a couple others and personally invite them. Say, on Sunday afternoon, I think you would contribute so much. I'd love to have you. Do you need a ride? What has kept you from coming? Maybe even to begin to ask some kids. Now, they may go, no, I don't want to, but at least instead of being disappointed that your outreach stuff is drawing bigger numbers, go after those kids. That's now all of a sudden that's my pool to swim in, my pond to fish in.
Yeah, your fish to put on
your fish
net.
To fry.
Yeah, that's it.
Your soapbox to stand on.
I would also say I would say there's somewhere, this person's in Buffalo, New York, to find a mentor. There's probably somebody who is, not 20, who's 32
Right.
or 42, who could come alongside you and coach you a little bit, and you can begin to share some of your frustration with. So
Gotta have
I
that
agree.
outlet. I agree.
I feel like often. Oh, sorry.
No.
I feel like oftentimes when I was in Los Angeles doing youth ministry on my own, and I hit moments where I felt like I hit a lot of those moments when I was just trying to get all of the tasks done. And I didn't have vision, and I just felt like I was swamped by our weekly gatherings and by our events, and so I think the mentor piece is huge, because the mentor can oftentimes, all they are to you is just someone that
Mitigate.
gives you a big picture of what you're doing, and it can kind of help you to not just feel like you're trying to tread water, but you're actually swimming, toward a destination. So
that's good. I want to apologize on Matt's behalf that he was looking at that magazine while you were talking. Josh and I were fully engaged.
So focused.
Yeah,
Thank
listening
you.
to everything
You're
you
looking
said.
at your phone. You're finding the next question.
it's
What are you
fine. I
talking
respect
about?
it now that he can see out of that eye again.
That's
He just
right.
wants to look at things.
He's just so thrilled to see a
He's
magazine.
thrilled to
Just the
see
first
past the eye guck.
No,
Dude, Youth Ministry 360 has a magazine. Look at that.
I know, we
How
used to be
cool.
in it. Somebody forgot to send him an ad.
Yeah.
Who was
Matt
that?
was a little cheap on that one.
Yeah.
That's how I'm revising history. But it's all right, Matt.
So when you
No
were
one can
by
miss.
yourself,
Oh, it's a
struggling
catalog,
like
not a
that week
magazine.
after week, mentor was great.
Mentor
Oh,
pulls you out of the
totally.
weeds.
Yeah.
And Download Youth Ministry, had it been around back then, would have been
Yeah, this
very
show
helpful.
would be super helpful.
This was a show that kept me afloat.
And if
I
the
like
volunteers are a drag, I say if you can find one volunteer, either they're new or they're on your team, but somebody that could be your partner in crime, then that would really help carry the load and someone to talk to and bounce decisions off of. But
good.
you might not be able to change all of them or get all of them to rise to a standard or ignite a passion and all. But if you could find one, that would be good.
There you go. Speaking of one, you must have powered through questions, because I came back and my stack of questions was nil.
We did
So-
2 shows while you were gone, though.
Excellent.
So that
Yeah.
helps.
It's about time.
Yeah,
you
one
guys
was a
stepping up.
0.5,
Yeah.
so I'm not
Yeah.
sure
Yeah,
if that was
243.5 and 246.
No,
Alright,
today's
no idea. This is
246.
245.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The-
sending
The
questions to
YS one, we
webshow.
needed to pause.
Webshow at downloadyouthministry.com. That's
Please do.
webshow
Write it
at
down.
downloadyouthministry.com. This is
All
from
right.
Andy in Georgia, not my real name.
We'll call him Justin.
Hey there.
Thanks for the transparency on
Yeah.
that. Isn't that good?
I've just joined.
I am lying
Not
to
my
you.
real
So-
I just joined DYM, and can already see great things ahead from our ministry.
All right,
The
Andy,
question
cool.
pertains to our summer camp as a smaller church of about 175 people with 35 youth. During our morning minister meetings at camp, and really throughout the day, I encounter the larger churches with the traditional quote, "How many did you bring to camp?" questions, as if it were directly proportional to how successful our ministry is. Quite a few full-time youth pastors come across as better than, arrogant, and almost look upon us as a burden for being present. "No, we do things this way" type statements. I'm a volunteer youth leader, non-paid, non-full-time, with 2 other full-time jobs, plus I do 25 hours a week doing youth ministry.
What?
I've done
2
30
full-time jobs and 25 hours?
I've done
We
30
need to go learn
camps,
from
you heard
this.
it correctly, and even run my own for 14 years and feel like we're successful in the youth ministry arena. We may not have a budget, staff, cool facilities, but we do have multiple students going into ministry, teens that will witness to strangers.
Yeah.
We'd rather do mission work than dodgeball. Ooh, that hurts,
Oh,
Josh.
I'm not sure you're doing it right, but whatever.
And even have 100% of our youth who graduate high school in the last 6 years remain in church and/or ministry.
Sounds like you're doing great ministry.
My question is, what would be an appropriate response to the quote, "How many
If
did
their
you bring?"
approval
question?
doesn't matter, the question won't matter.
Maybe a snazzy comeback, huh?
Oh, I like that.
And maybe what advice do you have for full-time ministers to not come across so boastful, better than, or cocky when dealing with smaller churches at camp?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, this person seems just as cocky. I mean, I get it.
Interesting.
Whoa!
All right, didn't see that
Whoa.
one coming. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Did. I mean,
Come
on.
out at our DYM members. Boom! McGill has spoken.
No, I mean,
I'm
it's a
glad you put the
total-
magazine
Please be
away.
He's back.
You're here.
Welcome back to the show,
All right.
everybody.
There's
You
no
can see
way.
clearly
There's
now.
no way this person doesn't.
We're gonna
think-
call him Justin.
There's no
Justin.
way Justin doesn't have a chip on their shoulder. I mean, it's understandable. I mean,
It's just defensiveness. I don't think
what's
he's just going. We're
I-
doing great youth ministry, and these people say 12 kids that all 12 make it is not as valuable as 100 kids down the street at the megachurch.
yeah.
I think he's defensive. Everyone has.
We do
arrogance, but-
dodgeball, not missions.
Okay,
I mean,
I
come
didn't like
on.
that one either.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah,
You're
Yeah.
right.
the big church people are saying we do dodgeball. So yeah, I mean, it's just a tough thing here. I mean, the way you answer the question is, yeah, we bought 25 and it's really great for us. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's and not be bummed. I mean, there's no way. People are cocky. Pastors are leaders that are leading and doing things. They like to have things done their own way, and comparison's human. It totally sucks. Comparison
You're
is the
saying
worst.
it's human.
Right.
But you're certainly not going to change anything if you're totally pissed off about it. If you've got the chip, you're not going to be able to change. You're not going to be able to change anything.
Well, when we begin to move into validation based on numbers, it's definitely a sign of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
So if we feel like that I have more, that I am better than, I mean, we've said many times, you know, some of the best youth workers I know are not people at large churches.
Absolutely.
No
Yeah.
offense.
It's
Personal.
true.
No, I totally agree with that.
You know,
Or did you say large youth workers?
Large
I
youth
find it
workers
great.
are the best.
Griff does CrossFit now.
Yeah. Let me just go sleeveless on this one
Look
for
at
this
that.
rest of this question.
Look,
Jessica, would you say when you were a youth pastor alone in Los Angeles, and now you're here at Saddleback as part of a bigger team, and this bigger team has different responsibility, you're in meetings more, I mean,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so disagree with me here, but there may have been times, although it was difficult by yourself, that
Right.
you felt like maybe you had better ministry than you do
Yeah.
at Saddleback.
Totally. I mean, it's a give and take, because I remember in being on my own, I knew so many more people in my youth ministry because it was significantly smaller. So I actually got to know.
but did you know more people or a higher percentage? You knew 90% of the kids, and now you know 2%.
Maybe. I don't. Well,
I mean, you still know a ton of people in your ministry.
right. I do. I did. And I do. I just feel like there was a different level of touch. I didn't have to say to a student, well, hold on, I'm in like 4 meetings today, so I can't go to your volleyball
Right,
game. Let
right.
me rearrange my schedule to figure out, or it sounds silly, but I rarely had to like take my phone out and look at my calendar to make sure I could go to a student's
Right.
thing.
You just
because
went.
You're
it just
corporate.
wasn't so crazy. And so, but I do firmly believe that some of the greatest pastors I've ever met are people who we will never know what their name is. They'll never publish a book. They will never speak at a conference.
No,
And it's
I
people
agree.
that, you know, are mentoring
Yeah.
people for life. They're people that have loved a student from when they were in 6th grade and are at their wedding and are
Yep.
Yeah.
going to the hospital when their kids are born.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's natural for people to respect, listen to, put on a pedestal people with larger ministries, people
Right.
with a book or whatever. I mean, if you look at the pastors, the teaching circuit on the conferences, it's the same people at every event.
Right.
Because they're the ones that people are listening
Because
to
they have charisma.
and buying tickets
Not
for. So I would
necessarily-
say part of it is human nature to go, success is numbers. I'm not saying that's right. I would dispute that for sure. Numbers don't mean good youth ministry. A big youth ministry doesn't mean you're doing it right or doing it well or really.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, based on what you're saying, there's probably a little bit of defensiveness and maybe there's a little bit of arrogance, but
On my part?
No, he's
No,
referring
he is
statements,
affirming your
observations.
yes,
statement.
well, yes.
Yeah, but
the answer to that
sure,
is
yeah, but
yes,
not in this
absolutely.
situation.
Totally.
Not in this situation. I'm not
Yeah.
being arrogant here.
But yeah, but my point is, if this really is true, what you're saying, that kids that are graduating your ministry are staying in the church, that
That's awesome.
kids are witnessing, that they're doing mission work, that you're doing this as a volunteer, you're a hero.
Right.
And so if there's any insecurity, you're allowing the enemy to distract you and to wound you and to think that the grass is greener. The grass isn't greener. The grass has just as much, if it appears greener, there's a bunch of fertilizer crap there as well that you can't see from your side of the fence. But I think that is a natural, not saying it's right, but it's one of the things in our silly Christian subculture that we've created that I want to get to that next, I want to get to that bigger, I want to get to that.
Maybe the better question is, hey, are you happy with how many you guys brought? I mean, I'm thinking out loud, but to me,
because that takes into factor a little bit more.
Because to me, when you're running an event, you do have a number that you're going for, and you would like to have 2 more kids. I mean, summer camp, talking about that. So a number is cool. A number is important. It's a drag when all the youth pastors are like, hey, so how big's your group? And we have the bigger group, so we should get our way, you know. And all. I mean, that's a total drag.
Well, should we speak to them?
But maybe that's the question.
Well, see,
are you happy with how many you brought?
I think when I had Josh's job, and I was at things where I knew we were the biggest. You know, we'd go to Mexico or something like that, and there'd be 3,000 teenagers, and we had
the largest group,
30% of them or something like that. I'm going.
What's that number?
I don't know.
I don't talk about numbers.
25%. I mean, we had a lot of, and then I always felt when I would meet I'd see somebody with 8 kids sitting in a circle and they knew everybody's name. I'm going, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
You were jealous.
I kind of wish that.
But you were humble. I mean, and that was great. And that's not what most youth pastors do.
No, a lot of youth workers, I don't know if most is right, but a lot of youth workers are tools.
They feel very affirmed.
You go to a conference
when they have,
and it's like, how many do you have? How many do you have? How many do you have? It is a little bit
Well,
of
it's
like
not
a
an indicator of health. Somebody tweeted
smart.
Somebody tweeted something yesterday that I've said, and so I know it's recorded and people are hearing it, but it was like when somebody asks you, how healthy is your family doing good? You don't say 5. I don't tell you how many people are.
I'm totally into quality, not quantity. If I lost 1 or 2, I'd be okay.
Kids or students in your youth ministry?
Kids. No, I mean
you've got a couple to lose.
I've got a couple to lose.
You're talking about weight
chins
or
or
pounds?
It's the It's so much more important to be faithful to what you're called to than effective by the world's standards.
Yeah.
And we want to be effective. Effectiveness. God didn't call us to waste time and to be losers and accomplish nothing. I mean, we are called to do great things, but in the moment, when there's conflicts like this or when there's insecurities seeping in, faithfulness is more important than effectiveness.
Well, let's go to group publishing. Okay, Tom and Joni Schultz, who are the owners of group publishing, who bought Simply Youth Ministry, which I started many years ago. I love those guys. They're great. But here's the deal. Joni grew up in a youth group of 2 kids.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 kids. So her youth worker, I mean, sometimes she'd say it was youth group of 1, and she was the only one there.
Yeah.
And you go, call that a date.
I hope not.
Yes. So here's a youth worker.
I didn't mean that in a bad way.
Here's a youth worker who is invested in this young girl. Now this young girl grows up
and goes on
to lead this, huge publishing company and has a kingdom impact that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That young girl might have got lost in somebody else's crowd and in God's design and sovereignty, and that youth worker who can say, I got to be a part of awesome. Discipling Joni Schultz. Anyway, I think that's a cool deal.
Well, just for sake of conversation, how many were in the youth group that you grew up in? I'll start 12. I was one of 12 kids in my youth group.
Just like the disciples.
Well, were you Judas?
Were you Judas?
I was.
He was the unnamed disciple, the 13th.
Jim was our youth pastor, or volunteer firefighter, a full-time firefighter, but volunteer in our church, and he was my youth pastor. I'm one of 12. I'm so thankful for small, great youth ministry. Youth ministry to 2, awesome. Youth ministry to 12, amazing.
I wasn't.
I think megachurch and platforms and voices, some of that stuff's overrated. And no one ever is going to know who my dad is, who's a pastor for years and years and years.
That's true.
And he is my hero. he has changed lives and invested in people, and is filling in for churches now in his older age.
Yep.
And no one will ever know the impact that he's made. Thousands of lives, but one at a time, very quietly.
Yeah.
And I
That's
don't know.
awesome.
I think that's a very noble. I don't know. I love it. I mean, God uses it all.
You got to be doing
Yeah.
what God's calling you to do.
How many were in your youth group when you were growing up? Were you in youth group?
25.
25.
Yeah,
right.
in high school, 25 kids. And I also believe God can, that's the craziest thing about faith is God can use anything. Like, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm publicly admitting this.
Here we go.
We used to do like morning prayer gatherings. It's like Pentecostal church.
You're embarrassed of prayer?
6 a.m. Wait,
Embarrassing
this
Jesus.
is what's embarrassing. 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings. I only went to the prayer gatherings because we went to Krispy Kreme donuts after. Only as a 17-year-old, I was like, I want to go hang out after. Sure,
Yeah.
why not? So I'd pray for an hour, and then they'd treat us to Krispy Kreme donuts after.
Win. Double
And
win.
in God's sovereignty, years down the line,
Prayer works.
really began to talk to Jesus genuinely and
Still love Krispy Kremes.
and still I'm going tonight. National Donut Day, everybody. And I mean, God can use anything, even if that's something I even struggle with as a youth worker. I get frustrated with students. Like, you need to have the right heart about yada yada, whatever we're doing.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't when I was...
And I didn't
Right.
as a high schooler. And somehow God just, in his goodness, used all these pieces, even the broken parts of my youth ministry, our youth ministry, God used to draw me closer to himself in ways that I didn't even know he was doing in a group of 25 kids with a guy that preached for way longer than he should have every Friday night. Like an hour, he would just talk at us. And somehow,
Should have moved it to Sunday night.
yes,
They would have moved it to Sunday
somehow
night.
something seeped in over
I love it.
time. I don't
Great.
know how it happened, but it did.
Big youth group? Part of
Yeah.
a big youth ministry when you were growing up?
Yeah. Yeah, we had... There's... The way that I remember it, there was more than 100 kids.
Yeah.
Jokingly, I was going to say, I still always felt like I was the only one in the room. But just
Larger
thought
than
that-
life.
Yeah, yeah.
But no arrogance.
Yeah.
Just
No,
large.
I just thought I'd throw that out there. As
I
an
don't
easy.
know. I think it's an interesting
That's why I was
question.
laughing earlier. I was imagining me saying that actually out loud.
If you're,
No, but
should we take a covenant though that we aren't going to talk about numbers? The next camp or event you're at where there's a bunch of churches, just don't.
Just
talk
question
about
your motives.
Yeah.
Just
When
just
you're-
hold the mirror
yeah.
up and say, why do I care?
Yeah.
Why am I asking that question? If you're a person of a larger ministry, know that people with smaller ministries, maybe you can say, learn from them, or what do
Stop
you learn?
comparing.
What are you
Stop
learning?
comparing
What can you
yourself to
teach
others.
me?
Everybody.
Yeah, we're all part of the same thing. We're not in competition with one another. We have an enemy, and that's what the competition is.
Amen.
And he loves for us to be distracted and divisive and comparing and
Discouraged.
wounded and discouraged and heavy.
Deranged. All sorts of D words. Demented.
When you compare, you lose.
All
One of my
of
favorite
those.
statements. I've heard it for years and years and years.
It's true.
I've latched onto it. I heard Field say it literally 15 years ago, and I say it, remind myself
Because you
constantly.
compare what you know about yourself to what you don't know about others.
I love the fact that you guys can quote my quotes better than I can quote my
We
quotes.
can. We totally can.
Yeah,
It's all the gray in your beard.
I guess.
Oh, snap. And the show comes full circle.
Done.
Love you, dude.
Thank you for
The
being here,
best.
Jessica.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Squid shake. All right.